So this is what the question asks. Basically, they're asking us to find the range of this. We know that for finding the range for polynomials or rational functions, the best method is a y method. Take f of x is equal to y, and after that write x, the possible values of y for x to be a real number. Possible values of y for x to be a real number is the range. Possible values of x is the domain. We know that domain, for domain denominator not equal to 0, and then you get the corresponding, but they ain't asking for the domain. We'll need to find the range. So let us write as a equation in x. Now this is a quadratic equation in x. So you need to choose the y values such that x is a real number. For this equation to have a real root, the discriminant should be greater than or equal to 0. It cannot be negative. If discriminant is negative, then this equation will have imaginary roots. So the x value will be imaginary. That's why we need to solve this. Discriminant means, what is discriminant? B square minus 4ac. B is this. B square is 5y plus 1 the whole square minus 4 into a is y and c is 9y. Greater than or equal to 0. Simplification. We just simplified this using a plus b whole square formula, and then we simplified the y square terms and we factorized and we got. So once we get this, we know the Weyvikov method well known. The zeros of these linear polynomials you need to write. So the lesser 0 is minus 1 by 11 and the greater 0 is 1. Because the y square coefficient is negative, you can see that here y square coefficient is negative. So you start with a negative in the rightmost, minus, plus, minus. We want the product to be positive. So the y belongs to the closed minus 1 by 11 to 1. And the question asked is lies between, and which option says that it lies between minus 1 by 11 and 1? That's option 4. Fourth option says that it lies between minus 1 by 11 and 1. To find the domain of this, we have three conditions. What are the three conditions? The first condition is this one. Whatever there with log, whatever input for the log, that input should be always greater than 0. So this expression should be greater than 0. That is condition number 1. Condition number 2. This is also an expression. This is also input for log. Because this is also input for log, this also should be greater than 0. Condition number 3. In this fraction, this is in the denominator. This cannot be 0. So those three conditions if you write, I'll write the inner condition first. X not equal to x power 1 by 4 not equal to 0. That's condition number 1. Denominator cannot be 0. Next, whatever the input of a log, that input should be positive number. 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 should be greater than 0. Next, the third condition. Again, the same input for log should be greater than 0. So input for this log and this log, when there are two logs in the function, both inputs of the first log function as well as input of the second log function, both should be positive. So input of this log function, outer log function, is minus log base half 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 minus 1 should be greater than 0. So this value, this simplification is easy. Just x power 1 by 4 not equal to 0, x not equal to 0. And this one, you need to write x in one side. We wrote like this. 1 by 4th root of x is greater than minus 1. 4th root of x is greater than minus 1. And moreover, the fourth root is kind of a root. Actually, we forgot to mention that condition. Power 1 by 4 is a root. Power 1 by 4 is basically root of root. So that's why instead of not equal to 0, what we can write as, we can write greater than 0. This condition, because it is root of root, x power 1 by 4 is root of root x. So when you have two roots, this value is anyway will be positive because the plus root plus is there in front of it. So that's why you can just write the x greater than 0. When you write x greater than 0, automatically not equal to 0 is covered. So you can write just x greater than 0 for that. Now coming to this, when x is greater than 0, if you take this condition here also, for positive numbers, this is always positive. 1 by a positive number is greater than minus 1 is always true. Why? This is a positive number. This value is positive. A positive number greater than minus 1 is always true. So no condition from this side. Sir, x cannot be negative. No, that condition is there. That condition we already mentioned here. So no need to mention it separately here. So from this, you can take any x for which it is defined. That is x greater than 0 again. Next, coming to this. Log of this is greater than 0. So the minus log of 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 is greater than 1. Is greater than 1. We send the 1 to that side. Now this minus can be written in the power of this. Log, this can be 1 by 2 and 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 whole power minus 1 is greater than. 1 can be written as log half base half. We did similar problems in the regular class. So when 1 is there, we'll write the 1 as log half base half. Why we are writing like this? So that we can remove the logarithm and we can get the interval where x is x lying or x is allowed for this to be defined. So now when you're removing the logarithm, because the base is less than 1, inequality should be reversed. We discussed clearly in the regular class. If the base is less than 1, the inequality will be reversed. If the base is more than 1, inequality remains the same when applying as well as removing the logarithm. So 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4, the whole power minus 1 is less than 1 by 2. So some more simplification. Yeah, now whole power 1 by whole power minus 1. So when this you can write as cross multiplication. If you do x power 1 by 4 or you take the reciprocals. When you take the reciprocals, instead of writing that, you can take the reciprocals of that. This is 1 by 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 is less than 1 by 2. See, this is also positive number, this is also positive number. If you both are positive number, you can take the reciprocals. We have the property, we discussed this many times. 0 is less than x is less than y. That implies the reciprocals, if you take 1 by x will be greater than 1 by y. That reciprocals you can take only when both are positive or both are negative. Here both are positive. That's why if you take the reciprocals of this, the inequality will be reversed. So 1 plus 1 by x power 1 by 4 is greater than 2 by 1, 2. Next, 1 by x power 1 by 4 is greater than 2 minus 1, 1. Now again, 1 by x power 1 by 4 greater than 1. So x power 1 by 4 is less than 1. Again, we are taking the reciprocals. When you're taking the reciprocals, both are positive, inequality will be reversed. X power 1 by 4 is less than 1. So root of you can inequality again, one more property. When you have both positive numbers, you can square the inequality. Inequality remains the same. Both should be positive numbers. If you follow that, then you square it, then you get x power 1 by 2 is less than 1. And again square it, x less than 1. So what you got all together, from the first two you got x greater than 0. From the third one you got x less than 0. So you combine these two and write. I told already in the regular class that if you write the inequality in less than notation, you'll get more clarity, because on the number line, numbers are in increasing order. 0 less than x is less than 1. This one and this one together if you write. So the x belongs to open interval 0 to 1 is the final answer, and that is in option 1. So this is what we discussed in the regular class. Right? Log is increasing function if the base is more than 1. Log is decreasing function if the base is less than 1. And we also discussed increasing function means x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is less than f of x2. That means for increasing functions, when you apply the function or remove the function, the inequality remains the same. But decreasing function, x1 less than x2 implies f of x1 is greater than f of x2. In case of decreasing function, when you apply the function or remove the function, inequality will be reversed. Greater than will be less than will be converted into greater than, and greater than will be converted into less than in case of decreasing function. So here in our problem, the base is half. Half is less than 1. So that means that is decreasing function. So when you're applying or removing the function, the inequality should be reversed. So here log we are removing. We are removing the logarithm with base half. So that's why the greater than inequality will be reversed as less than. If already less than is there, that will be reversed and then you get greater than. So you should not remember in form of greater than and less than. You should remember in the form of will be reversed. If the base is less than 1, the inequality will be reversed. You need to remember like that. Along the x-axis, left to right, x values will be increased. So when you're moving from left to right, when you're moving from left to right, x values you're increasing. Corresponding to that, y value is happening. What happening for the graph? Graph is coming down. Coming down means y values are decreasing. When you're increasing the x values, y values are decreasing, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you are increasing the x values, y values are decreasing. So that is why this is decreasing function. So when your x1 half x1 is less than x2, that means when you increase the x1 value or the x value from x1 to x2, the corresponding function value will be decreased.
Yeah.
Right? And whereas an increasing function from left to right, if you move, suppose this is 2 and this is 3. F of 2 is this much and f of 3 is this much. So 2 is less than 3 and f of 2 is kind of, suppose this is half and f of 3 is 3 by 2. So f of 3 is greater than f of 2, right?
Yes, sir.
So why it is happened? Because it is increasing function.
Increasing, yeah.
When you increase the x value corresponding to that, f of x also increasing. Kind of x values and f of x values are proportional, directly proportional here in increasing function, and here it is, they are inversely proportional. Kind of that. This increasing and decreasing is not just for logarithms. Any function, trigonometric functions, exponential functions. So log x is just an example for increasing and decreasing functions. So that's why I didn't minimize the concept to logarithms. I gave in general for increasing and decreasing function concept and applied that for the logarithms. So your familiar function sin x between 0 to pi by 2, if x1 is less than x2, the sin x1 is less than sin x2. If you want, you can see that in the graph also. Sin x1 is lesser than sin x2 because it is increasing function. Whereas the same sign, if you take between 0 to pi, it is decreasing function. Suppose some t1 and t2 if you take. T1 and T2 if you take. Pi by 2 is less than, T1 is less than, T2 is less than pi. In this interval, sign is decreasing function. In this interval, sign is decreasing function. When you apply the sign for this, sin T1 is not less than sin T2. You can see that clearly in the graph. Sin T1 is greater than sin T2. So for a decreasing function, if you apply that function or remove that function, inequality will be reversed. Right? See, like we had a discussion like about the similar problem. We have one equation and two variables. In general, finding unique solution is not possible. One equation, one variable, you can find. Two equations with two variables, you can find a unique solution whenever it exists. But one equation, two unknowns we need to find means we'll get many solutions. Infinitely many solutions we get most of the times. But here they restricted them to be natural numbers. In such cases, we may get finite number of solutions, and the option says that the number of such order pairs are 8, 6, 4, and 16. One of the 4 options. So definitely finite. So for that, we need to use the factorization of the prime factorization of the numbers. So the 12, if you write as 2 into 3, x and y should be natural numbers. That's why you need to random verification. If you do, you can start with x is equal to 1. If you start with x is equal to 1 and 1 here also, and then possible values of y, like that, verification is a little difficult here. Why verification is difficult? X and y are appearing more number of times. Suppose if you could convert this equation such that x and y are appearing less number of times, then it is easy to verify. For that, what we do is, we bring these two to the LHS, xy minus 12x minus 12y. If you see in these two x, if you take common, y minus 12 we are getting, y minus 12. So here also, to get the same y minus 12 factor, I will add 144. So subtract 144 or add the 144 on RHS. Basically, I brought this to the LHS and I added 144 on both sides. Sir, how you know about 144? See here, when I'm taking x common, I'm getting y minus 12. So I have 12y here in the remaining term. I want the same factor y minus 12, factorization, like a completion of square. So y minus 12 I need. So already 12y is there. 12 should be there. Like that. That's how I got 144. Then from these two, minus 12 is common. So y minus 12 equal to 144. Then I take y minus 12 common. Then x minus 12 into y minus 12 equal to 144. Now I could reduce the number of times xy appeared into 1 each. So now I can start my verification. But the thing is, the minimum value for x should be 12. So instead of verifying the minimum value for x and maximum value for y and all those, let us write the possible values of x minus 2 and y minus 2. Let us treat this as t into s is equal to 144 and ts both are integers. Both should be natural numbers, because a natural number minus 12 is again a natural number, right? ts equal to 144. X and y should be natural numbers. Now, what are the possibilities? 1 and s can be 144. It can be 1 and this can be 144. And it can be 2 and this can be 72. Factorization only. Usually we used to do in the lower grades. 144 prime factorization. 2 into 72. Next to 3 table goes. Yes. 3 how many times? 3
48
times. So out of all these factors, we just need to check to get this x minus 12 and this as y minus 12 is possible with xy as natural numbers or not. That's all we need. We don't need to find the numbers and all, because the question asks the number of such ordered pairs. So this one is possible, no worries. Definitely y values are possible till here, because to get this sum, this as 16, this is also possible. To get this some number minus 12 is equal to 12, the number is 24. The last one if you see, and so on, y is equal to 24. So all these are natural numbers, and if you go for the x values, x is equal to 13 here, for x is equal to 14 here, and so on for the last one, x is equal to here also 24. So both xy values are possible to get all these combinations. How many combinations now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 combinations, and the answer is 8. You can see that x less than or equal to y. If it is x less than y, then we could eliminate this option and then write 7 as the answer.